Lucky Lefty Podcast. The Onora boys are in the building. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And it's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure that you drink
responsibly.
Definitely got to drink responsibly. Today, a lot of things to talk about, Left. We're going to have some fun in the second half of the show, and we're going to produce our own 2023 Notre Dame football trailer going into the spring. We're going to tell you what we feel like should be in the trailer to get get the team hype, get the fan base hype, get recruits hype. We're gonna talk about that, have some fun. And then Left, this dude, he has an off-season plan for every quarterback on the Notre Dame roster.
That's right.
Can't wait to hear what this is.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Coach Lee. We're going to talk about this article in The Athletic, where it talks about the 5-star recruiting debate. Just how important is it? How impactful are 5-star recruits? First year to second year. How does that relate to Notre Dame? Because we go down to 5-star recruits from the class of 2022. Notre Dame has one in there. But you'll be interested in seeing some of these numbers from these 5-star recruits, Left. Talk a little Justin Scott. Had an opportunity to talk with the young man last night after his basketball game. Another double-double for the young man.
What, you want to be Glenn Davis?
He is literally the high school version of Big Baby. He is. Like, he's the type of disrespectful guy that you play that you want to punch. Right? Because he doesn't, like, scowl or anything. He just smiles at you. Like, you talk trash to him, he just smiles at you. You push him, he smiles at you. Right? And I see kids like, and it's so funny because the kids that play against him know who he is. You know what I mean? From a football standpoint. Like, they're playing basketball, but they know, like, oh, he's a big deal. And you can tell. So, like, when they score a bucket on him, they always have something funny to say. And I'm like, he's not a hooper like that, dude. Like, you act like you just scored back down Kobe or back down LeBron and scored over him. But it's funny because just the way he reacts and his personality, man, he's really a good kid. So I had talked to him about 10 minutes after the game. A couple of tidbits I'll give away from that. Well, I'm going to start right here, dude. First of all, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. All of our great content, John Garcia Jr., State of Recruiting. You already know. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. Mel Kiper comes out with his mock draft. For the first time in a while, Notre Dame is being projected to have 2 first-round picks in the NFL draft. One of these picks, if they go the way he projects, might actually save a quarterback's career and legacy. I'm going to keep it funky. Keep it funky. The other one would be a welcome addition to an already stout defense. Quarterback's questionable at this point in his career. Who the heck is going to coach this young man?
That's right.
But he projects Michael Mayer to go 15th to the Green Bay Packers. Now, I'm here in Chicago. There's plenty of Notre Dame fans here in Chicago that are also Bears fans. Do you understand how painful it would be in this city to see Michael Mayer go to Green Bay?
But you got to balance it out with Cole Kmet. And then you got Brock Wright in Detroit.
No, that's not balancing. We can trade Cole Kmet to Green Bay, and then we can take Michael Mayer. That's not balancing it out. There is no balance to that, bro. Michael Mayer is the decidedly better tight end of the bunch. But you're right. You're right. The NFC North would literally be Notre Dame tight end you
Yeah, in the Notre Dame
in the
conference.
NFL and Notre Dame conference.
You
You're
got
absolutely right. That's
Detroit,
a good call,
Green
Left.
Bay, potentially. Got Chicago got all the Notre Dame players.
That's facts.
So
Facts.
it's like, who's left? The Vikings? We had Kyle Rudolph there for a minute. Harrison Smith's there. So they got Alabama's, I think, tight end. I don't know. But Notre Dame, we in there with tight ends.
Who? The Vikings?
Mm-hmm.
No, the Vikings have they just traded for the kid that came from he was with the Lions. And he got traded to the Vikings.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of what college he went to. Was it Iowa?
What's his name?
I'm sure someone in the chat is going to throw it up in a second.
Hawkinson, TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson. Yes. Yeah. That's what I thought from Iowa. That's what I thought. So, yeah. He just got there. So, man, it's interesting. Because Notre Dame fans in this area have rooted for this man for years, and for them to have to deal with him for the next 10 to 12 years in the division and that rivalry.
But Cole gonna balance out once Justin Fields, like the people at the gas station say, just get the accuracy just a little bit better.
We love you, dude.
We love you, bro.
Man, you dope.
You're gonna be here for a long time.
You just need to work on that accuracy just a little bit.
I wouldn't even fill up my gas there, but I just get in the car and go to the next.
I mean, dude, it's the closest station to the stadium. It's the closest station to the stadium.
I'll get it after work.
See, that lets us know that Justin is one of those dudes. He should have gassed up on his way to the stadium.
That's right. At home.
Right. Out in the burbs. Right. But he's one of those dudes that waits for everything to get to like 20 miles to empty.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a professional. You got money now. You got to act like it.
Now, I can't front. I drive the missus crazy doing that crap.
Why are you taking to about 2
Dude,
miles
I do. Man, I take it to like.
Your thing says, get ready to push on there.
Look, man, if I'm coming back from somewhere and that bad fella says 30 miles to empty, as long as I get home, bro. As long as I get home.
See, you can't get no Tesla.
No.
You can
No.
Be stuck like Chuck. You're going to be stuck like Chuck. And it take about an hour for that thing to get charged up.
Man, I have to apologize so many times, especially when baby girl is home. Well, we got 2, but we have 3 drivers. So baby girl comes home. She wants to get out, be gone, kick it with her friends and stuff. I come in, nighttime, don't fill it up. The missus has to jump up early in the morning and go somewhere. She starts up the car. That bad fella's on E. She's heated. She is heated. So I'm trying to get better, bro. I'm trying to get better. Lucky Lefty podcast. So 29th in his projections, Isaiah Foskey goes to the Denver Broncos. Defense is already stout.
Yeah. I think he'd be going into a great situation where it'll probably be saying he'll learn under a guy with Chubb there. And who's the other DN that's pretty good? They got two monsters out there. But whoever's on the other side, he'll learn for a couple years, and then he'll be right in line. I think he fits what they're doing over there in Colorado. But more importantly, he's in a good organization. They just got new management. They're the richest team in the league.
Yeah.
So, he's going to be taken care of in the right spots because they're going to get a quarterback eventually for sure.
Man, at the line, Josie Jewell, who was a beast at Iowa. Baron Browning, both of those guys had fantastic years. Of course, Patrick Surtain, Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons. That secondary is really, really good.
Patrick Surtain's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, they said Chubbs got traded, but still, they always have a really good defense. Their defense is what could have got them into the playoffs if Russell Wilson scored over 13 points a game.
Yeah. And they played a 3-4, which, fits right with the skill set of Isaiah Foskey.
Oh, for sure. Pass rush central.
Yeah. Good enough to drop
He's
in
not
coverage.
that much of a run stopper anyway. I mean, I wouldn't use him that way.
Yeah.
Get after the quarterback.
I didn't realize how good of a season Josie Jewell had. I knew he was really good at Iowa. But him and Baron Browning really stepped up. And then Deshaun, Williams up front. That 3-4 front. It's all about the linebackers, right? Similar to like the Lloyd Kevin Green combination when they with the Steelers, where you can really get some underrated, really good guys to play on the line and just have them stuff up blocks and let your linebackers just wreak havoc.
I mean, that's what made us good in 2012. What made Manti a Heisman candidate, having Knicks to it and Shinko up front.
Yeah. Johnny S said, when the red light comes on, how many miles do you have left? I don't think a red light comes on. Oh, you talking about
the car?
Well, every gas tank, even if it says empty on the digital reader, there is a reserve in each tank, depending upon the tank, of like 5 to 7 miles. So even if it hits 0, and I'm not telling people to do this, please don't do this. Please don't do this. I'm just giving you facts. Please do not take this and say,
I'm just
man,
reading what's on the car manual.
Right.
You have a 5 to 7 range.
Yeah.
When you on red.
Yeah, when you're on red, there's like a reserve. There's a reserve in the tank of like 5 to 7 miles. So, it's not the brightest thing to do, but I'm just answering the question. I know once it gets under 30 miles in my vehicle, it's pretty, I get like notifications like every 2 miles. Like, dude. Like, facts. Like, come on, man. You tripping. So, all right, man, look. All of this, I'll say this. Left for me, I was doing evenings when I was producing at Aspen. So, I'm walking out of the studio. We have a show, but then let's say, man, I was producing for a few years there. I was producing Notre Dame basketball games, right? So I would produce a Notre Dame basketball game, then do a show that would end a live show that would end at 10, and then I would go into whatever NBA game was on the network from the West Coast.
Oh, you're talking.
Right. So it's like Lakers Clippers. So now I'm board op in that game. Right. And that game finishes up at like 12:30. And then I'm locking up and making sure everything is cool for the morning show because I'm the last one there. So I'm walking out of the studio at like 1 a.m. And I'm looking like, yo, it's 50 miles. Like, man, I'm not stopping. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. No, I'm going home.
I'm going
home. So when you make that decision, I understand, man. And I could have stopped downtown. Hey, so the article I talked about, Manny Navarro, has just hit me back. This is why I love, man. Manny Navarro just hit us back. He's going to join us coming up in about 25 minutes to talk about 5-star recruits. That's what we do on Her Lucky Lefty, bro. You know what I'm saying? We don't just talk about it. Let's go get the dude. You know, and he said he was happy to come on today. So he'll come on in 20 minutes so we can really break down the 5-star recruits. Um, hey, Roger, look, man, it's situational, bro. It's not an everyday thing. It's situational. I got to get better at situational
It's
husband.
all
You know what I'm saying?
situational.
I gotta improve on my situational husband. I gotta improve on my third down husband
That's right.
things.
That's
You
right.
know
You
what I'm
gotta
saying?
just rearrange some of the
Yeah,
play calls. You
that's
know,
all. That's all. I'm good, but
slight
sometimes
adjustments. You know. You
not
know. You
adjustments. You know, I'm not good at third and long when it comes to my husbandry.
can't get
You
behind
know
the
what I'm saying? I
sticks.
gotta
Can't
improve
get
on
behind the
it.
sticks. Not
Right,
too many things you can call when you that far behind the sticks. So
right. I gotta
you know.
stay ahead of it. You know what I'm saying?
So second and
Like,
first downs where you really want to live, make your money at.
and to see, I'm a full dude. Now on the counter of that, I don't play that filling it up halfway.
Yeah.
Like when I stop,
I'm stopping to fill it, and
I'm
we
filling it
feel.
all the way up.
We
Right.
feel.
I don't do that, man. Give me 20 on number 5. Knowing that 20 is gonna give me like a quarter of a tank. I don't do that.
Because you don't like to stop to do it in general.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
So it
you.
almost makes sense to let it get to
Thank
the
you.
eeny weedy beady left. Because then you like, okay, yeah, because I have to go get it. And then I'm gonna hit the fool, and then I don't have to think about it.
Now see my missus, she will be honest. My missus will constantly stop and won't allow it to get low, but she's always doing the give me 20 on 5. Give me
Make
20.
it
And I'm
move
like,
out.
dude, you keep doing 20 like every 2-3 days. Like, man, just fill the bathtub up and ride out
And ride out.
and fill it up again.
See, you
I'm
probably
just
beat the
saying.
inflation because you was at full tank, and it lasted so long. They probably dropped the prices back down. Your
Facts.
wife dealing with the inconsistencies in the prices because she every 2 days, and it's week to week how it's changing.
Facts. Facts. So, look, which one do you think is a better landing spot? That's what I want to ask you. Which spot is a better landing spot, in your opinion? Denver for Foskey or Mayer going to Green Bay? Aaron Rodgers might not even be there left.
I think just because of the Michael Mayer archetype, he'll be good in Green Bay, Wisconsin. No matter what quarterback's there, I think
Mm-hmm.
he has the ability to have a strong career in a market that would love Michael Mayer at that tight end spot, and he's really good.
Dude, man,
And
he
he's
would
really
be
good.
he would be a legend,
He'll be the Bart Starr tight ends.
bro. He would be a legend in Green Bay.
Yeah, he'll be a
Legend.
nice slam dunk. And Matt LaFleur, having Notre Dame experience, will probably know how to feature the tight ends and knows the importance of the type of player he's getting and how he can incorporate that into what he's doing. So it's a very nice fit if I'm Michael Mayer. What a great career to get put in all the right positions. For Foskey, it'd be nice, but Denver's not that good right now. So a lot turnover can happen, and until they get a quarterback, it's not going to change.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Look, I think Foskey, for what he does, has tremendous value because of the division he's in. There's tremendous value. What's tremendous value on the ability to rush the passer
Yeah, in general,
in general? But I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
Michael
Especially in that,
Mayer is going to have a better career though, because he's going to be in the as long as he's in Green Bay, and he's probably going to be there a long time.
well, I'm gonna tell you now. If Aaron Rodgers comes back, bro, hit them. If Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback in Green Bay next year, Michael Mayer is catching 80 balls.
Yeah, easy.
Easy, easy, easy. and you see the emergence of Christian Watson in the second half of the season on the outside, dude, he might save Rodgers' legacy
I mean, I
up in
don't know
that
about
joint.
that. He did win a
Oh,
Super
bro.
Bowl.
Yeah, dude. But I mean, he won a Super Bowl. Is that what he wants to be known as? The dude that was a one off?
Brett Favre only won one.
Like I said, does he want to be known as a dude that was a one off that stole money from poor people?
Brett Favre don't have as many MVPs as Aaron Rodgers, but in Green Bay, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
Brett Favre is the man.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna be straight,
Yeah.
because of where he's at, and I think Michael Mayer is gonna fit right into that fan base very well.
So how do you feel about that? When's the next time Notre Dame is going to have 2 first-round picks in an NFL draft? Right? Could it come from the 23 class? Could it come from the 22 class? Could it be Benjamin Morrison and someone that takes a step up? It's going to be very interesting.
For Ben Morrison to get that first round potential this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of what Notre Dame is and who we are as a program, we'll have another one. It's just a matter of who.
Well, that won't be a question. They definitely. Hey, coming into the season, we were projected to have 3
with Cam.
No, Brandon.
Oh, well,
coming into the season, B. Joe.
Not after he came through our podcast. I'm like, he's not gonna make it.
Left. You have to have a forgiving heart, man.
Not the way he went about it. I'm just like, oh yeah, he's not first round. Because he wasn't seeing the bigger picture. You see what I'm saying? The bigger picture was this is the gate. We the gatekeepers. You at the gate talking about, I don't y'all paying me to come in. Who does that? Wasn't thinking the bigger picture. That's what T.I. tells Shannon Sharp. He said is, don't worry about the money up front, because it's always gonna be bigger in the back end.
Yeah, I'm glad Unc admitted he was on that stuff, on that sauce. It was obvious. He was on that sauce.
Well, the man got his own liquor company.
Yeah, and shout out. Legacy named after his grandmother. I love it. Let's talk about the top 10, and then we'll move on, right? Because we talked about Mayer and Foskey. Hey, the top 10. I know we have a bunch of Bears fans that watch us every day. I don't know how they feel about Jalen Carter going at number 1. I just, without a trade, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Would you take Jalen Carter over Will Anderson?
Will Anderson, I need him. But y'all don't know what to do with great pass rushers. Look at how y'all treated Khalil Mack.
What do you mean? We gave him the biggest contract, made him the highest paid defensive player. What do you mean? How did we mistreat him?
Y'all didn't support him when he most needed it most.
No. No.
Look how they did Aaron Donald.
This is how you can have everything in place, and one decision ruins everything. No. Facts. They made the move for Khalil Mack because they thought they had their quarterback. Now, if you couple the Khalil Mack move with Patrick Mahomes, this is a totally different story.
Totally different story. Yeah.
Totally different story. The fact that they coupled the Khalil Mack move with Mitch Trubisky just ruined everything, big picture.
Yeah, it's just a bad combination.
It just ruined everything. So that's pretty much what it was. Second, CJ Stroud has become QB1 now, bro.
I mean, duh. I don't know why we even entertain this Will Levis garbage.
Will Anderson goes 3. Stroud goes to the Texans. Will Anderson goes to the Cardinals at 3.
Wait,
Bryce
the
Young
are that bad? They're number 3 pick. Good
well,
grief.
Well, they lost the quarterback early in the season.
Oh, and conveniently, J.J. Watt retires, so it
Right.
just
Well,
they just
you
so
know,
happy the edge rusher.
they honestly they could be open for a quarterback. They did just get Kyler that money though.
Yeah, Kyler's in control.
But it's a new coach coming in. You never know.
Kyler's in control for at least the first 2 years.
Bryce Young to the Colts at 4.
See, I think the Colts want Will Levis.
Seahawks at 5 take Will Levis. Why?
Yeah,
Why? I thought Geno played pretty good.
They writing him off again. That's crazy.
Defensive end Tyree Wilson goes 6 to the Lions. Pete Skoronski from Northwestern, offensive tackle, goes 7th to the Raiders.
Man, Northwestern put them first round boys in.
Every 2-3 years they do produce. They do produce offensive line.
Oh no, it's been more frequent than the 2-3 years. It's been damn near been every year.
Well, Illinois historically, if you look at it from an NFL standpoint, produces a lot of offensive line.
Wait, who?
The state of Illinois.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the college.
No. Now, Illinois has a long list of offensive linemen too, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So the history's there. Anthony Richardson is in the top 10, bro.
It's not a strong quarterback class this year. Next year it is.
I think the top 2, in my opinion, when you have 2 strong quarterbacks,
top 2, and then it's everybody else.
They pull the other ones up a little bit higher than what they would normally go. And then Kalia Kancey, defensive tackle, goes to the Eagles. The Eagles have a top 10 pick and might be in the Super Bowl. That's bananas, bro.
Oh, because of the trade.
Yeah.
Top 10 pick. Who would they even get?
What do you mean?
Who would the Eagles even want to get? They got a pretty solid team.
Dude, they have a running back. They got a quarterback. They got offensive line. They got wide receivers. They probably would go get they got a good defensive back right there.
Yeah, you can never have too many good DBs.
Never. That probably would be a need for them.
Maybe a tight end.
They got Goddard.
They got who?
They got Dallas Goddard. They traded for him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so they have a tight end.
Yeah, I mean, he never had many corners, though.
They say, dude, they got good DBs.
They can never have too many corners, though.
Or I wouldn't be mad if they went offensive line.
Yeah, Lane Johnson did get hurt.
Heck, they got, dude, everybody on their defensive line has 10 sacks. Everybody. They had 70 sacks as a team.
Damn.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Like, they're going crazy.
You can always add depth.
Like, if we had something like that at Notre Dame.
Bro, you imagine that? Every dude on the defensive line has double-digit sacks. Every starter. That's the dumbest thing.
I mean, these are like, what, 5 or 6 sacks a game for that to happen.
Yes.
Because you got, yeah. Damn.
4 sacks, minimum 4 sacks a game.
Minimum. Like you're getting the guy on the ground.
Yes. Wow. Speaking of defensive lines, we talked about this yesterday in the can or can't said Notre Dame. Can Notre Dame get 3 5-stars in one recruiting class, bro?
If we win a championship.
That's the missing ingredient. That's the missing ingredient. I agree with you wholeheartedly. We have to find a way to do it without getting those. Once again, Manny Navarro from The Athletic joins us in about 5 minutes. I'm sorry, he just texted me. Ready in about 5 minutes. I'm interested. You want to go over the article, bro, and tease it? You want to? So there were According to his rankings, 34 5-stars in the class of 2022. 34. Travis Hunter was number one. And let me just give you the numbers. Since 2016, 43% of 5-stars started at least one game as a true freshman, with 1 in 5 starting more than 6 games in their first college season. By year 2, 78% have cracked the starting lineup, and 52% are starting at least half of their team's games. So it's fair to say 5-stars are important, right? Which I don't like when people like, man, you have to get 5-stars to win. On what level is it not key to get the best players to win in any sport? Let me know.
Let me know.
Let me know. Like, people think they're recreating the wheel, or they came up with something new. You can't win without 5-stars. Look, dude, you can't win without great players on every level of every sport. It is what it is. Travis Hunter, he transferred to Colorado, but he's still with his same coach. Walter Nolan, 4 starts, 289 snaps, had 29 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss. Luther Burden, wide receiver from Missouri, started 10 games, 535 snaps, 45 catches for 375 yards. Mikael Williams, we saw him make a difference in the national championship game and the college football playoff. Defensive end from Georgia. He only started 2 games, played 410 snaps, 4.5 sacks, 6.5 tackles for loss. Damani Jackson, man, he played in one of the worst defensive backfields at USC. Like, they were all awful. Everybody. Right? Cade Klubnik, 1 start, 225 snaps on offense. Book is still open on what he's going to become. CJ Hicks, who was basically the number 1 linebacker coming out last year. Ohio State, 0 starts, 0 snaps. He didn't play. Harold Perkins. Now, Harold Perkins, to me, production-wise, was probably the dude of this class. 8 starts, 514 snaps, 7.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. He's a dude. You'll see him shaking hands with Roger Goodell in a couple of years. Shamar Stewart, defensive lineman from Texas A&M, 6 starts, 416 snaps. Not a lot of production, 1.5 sacks. DJ Campbell from Texas. Evan Stewart, Texas A&M. He had 8 starts. And I go down the list. Sonny Styles, 0 starts, 69 snaps. Zach Rice, 0 starts, backup at guard. LT Overton from Texas A&M. Will Johnson. Now, here's another one. Will Johnson, another 3 and done. And it's Will Johnson and Benjamin Morrison that are going to be vying for best defensive back from that 22 class when it comes to like draft evaluation. Because second half, he started 5 games, really came on. He was their best man-to-man defender. True freshman at Michigan out of Detroit. Josh Connolly Jr., offensive tackle from Oregon, didn't start. My point is, Malachi Starks is another one that jumped out. He started every game as a true freshman down at Georgia. Now, here's the thing. I can stop short. Because we can go down the list of 5 stars, and I'm telling you, the majority of these guys didn't even start or get snaps. These are the 5 stars from last year. But I see a trend of the Georgia kids. I vividly remember them making an impact. Now, did they make an impact because of the program they went to? Now, this is important. Is it the talent, or is it the talent going to the right place? Because there are Tons of kids that I'm going down that didn't even play, start, whatever, but they're 5 stars. But the 3 kids I said that went to Georgia, they all made an impact.
Mm.
So you can have 5-star talent, you still need coaching and development. And people just think you just throw 5 stars out there and just win games. That's not how it works.
Not how it works.
A defensive lineman or a safety going to Kirby Smart, that matters. That matters. They make more of an impact. Alabama had 4 guys on this list. None of them played, bro. Connor Wegman. Now, Connor Wegman for Texas A&M, at the end of the year, this is what we say about quarterbacks. If you are a quarterback, you have to be ready to start a game by November as a true freshman.
That's right.
Texas A&M struggled all year. Connor Wegman came in as a 5-star and stabilized that whole situation. They came up with some big wins down the stretch in November at Texas A&M. Connor Wegman looks like he could be a dude. He started 4 games. So Marvin Jones Jr., 5-star left. Georgia didn't play. But I fully expect to hear his name this year.
Yeah.
I fully expect to hear his name this year. Ty Simpson. Now, this is important. Ty Simpson was a 5-star, right? Quarterback at Alabama. He's not even guaranteed to get the starting job at Alabama.
Nope.
Jaheim Singletary, cornerback, 5-star, Georgia. 13 snaps on defense. He's in the portal, left. There are a lot of narratives and stories that can come from getting top talent, getting 5 stars.
Yeah.
Right? But at the end of the day, left, somebody has to coach them.
Somebody.
And they have to go to the right situation. Now, to be honest, it's easy for a 5-star to consider Georgia the right situation. It's easy for a 5-star to consider Nick Saban and Alabama the right situation. My question to you, Left, what is it going to take for 5 stars to consider Notre Dame the right situation?
A lot of that is winning, and winning at a frequent rate. Say that 5 times fast. I think being able to be dynamic in these wins. I mean, not only is, for instance, Alabama winning, but they're producing players in the first round that you hear throughout college football news all year. You hear about Devontae Smith. You hear about a Jalen Waddle. You hear about a Bryce Young. You hear about a Will Anderson. Alabama had the best 2 players in college football.
Yeah.
Will Anderson and Bryce Young. Amidst all the great things in college football, all the great programs, Georgia, all of that. The 2 best players, offense and defense, in the country was at Alabama. So when you win at a high level and build something similar, have consistent coaching, I think Marcus Freeman is going to be there a long time because his recruiting strategies are great. So I think his teams are going to be a result of that. Great. I do believe that once that he can get past that 5-year mark and staying above 10 wins and being in the playoffs and win a championship maybe once or twice, definitely once, but twice in the first 5 years, you'll start to see an influx of 5 stars being more occurrent. Because if you're doing that, you staying above 10, 11 wins, got 2 championships in the first 5 years, that means you're recruiting at a high level, you're coaching at a high level, and you got guys in New York and winning these awards at the end of the season.
Man, look, it was just interesting looking at this. The one thing that stood out is the second year is the most important year. Like, you have rarities, right? Your Travis Hunters. You know who else is on this list that I forgot? He's right there with Harold Perkins and Nicholas Singleton from Penn State, the running back.
Oh yeah, he's nice. He's
Yeah,
nice.
instant impact, right? So
Yeah.
basically, if you have 34 kids, we mentioned about 4 to 5 guys that had immediate impact. The rest of these guys have to be developed, and it takes time, and it's based upon the schools they go to and the coaches they're connected
Yeah, the
to.
fit is everything. Eli
Absolutely.
Singleton at Penn State's a great fit. You know,
Why
big
is that, Left? Like, please break that down.
big program. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year. All the accolades. Penn State needed a running back. Penn State's a huge program, great media presence. They're always in the midst of being a great team, getting out of that 3-tier, being a 2-tier. A kid with that much talent can go in there and fit right away. You can tell there's an obvious need of a run game for Penn State during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And his impact was immediate because the fit was needed. They needed a run game to support Sean Clifford that was overhyped and is overhyped. Penn State usually has a pretty good offensive line. And then you're in the Big Ten where running backs usually are successful, i.e., Ohio State running backs are usually successful with a good offensive line. Michigan's running backs are usually pretty successful with a good offensive line. Every running back that's ever been through Wisconsin benefited from a run of a really good offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So, all things included, him going to Penn State was a great fit because it was about him.
Yeah. I mean, I
Because
totally agree.
of his talent. So sometimes you gotta go where it's about you.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown, all of our great content. Leave 5 stars. We would greatly appreciate it. Leave your comments because we respond to all comments. It's because of ULL Nation that we continue to have the success and growth that we do. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. We are pleased to welcome to the Lucky Lefty Podcast from the Athletic, the author of the context and the information we've been talking about 5-star recruits. Manny Navarro joins us on the Lucky Lefty Podcast. Manny, how are you doing this morning?
Doing great, guys. How are you?
Wonderful. We go down this list and we see Notre Dame had Jalen Sneed on the list. And, Notre Dame fans, the reason we want to have you on is have a really great conversation about the concept of the 5-star recruit and the ability to win national championships based upon getting those 5-star recruits to your program. And we understand that Notre Dame is never going to be able to recruit 5 stars to the same level as Alabama, Ohio State, and maybe even Georgia. But they still have to find a way to what Malik talked about to win. And when you win, now you give yourself more ability to maybe add 1 or 2 more to your recruiting class every year. I'm very interested in how you view not only the 5 stars, but the importance of where they go. Because we pointed out the 5 stars that went to Georgia, we saw them make an impact immediately.
Yeah.
So is it about where you go and the coaches that get a hold of you? Or is it really just about the natural maturation of some guys being a little bit further ahead than the others on your list?
Yeah, I think it's really the combination of factors, right? Like part of it is where those players are in their development, where they're at physically, or how healthy are they in year one? A lot of guys, as you guys know, come into college and they need to have surgery right away because when they were playing high school ball, they were playing through injuries and they were playing with stuff they didn't have surgery for. And then, so that sort of slows down the development of some of those guys when they do enroll in classes. Obviously, enrollment is another issue, right? Some guys are in for spring ball. Some of them come in the summertime or arrive in the fall, just depending on when they can graduate from their high school. So I think all of those things play a factor. But more so, when you look at schools like Georgia and Alabama who continue to just load up on 5 stars every single year, they've kind of got a system in place, right? Like they're rolling guys in and out, early entry into the draft very frequently. So it's almost like they've got the perfect system in place where a guy like Malachi Starks can come into Georgia as a true freshman at the safety position and play with enough elite experienced guys around him where he can get on the field and you can trust him to do his job and not be afraid because he's got a lot of other experienced guys who can help him through the process. So I think all of that plays a factor in how quickly guys see the field. But I was fascinated by that. I spent about a week or two just doing the research, crunching the numbers to figure out, how many guys actually come in and start right away, how many guys actually are a real part of the starting lineup, not just, 1 game starter, 2 game starter, but really a part of the process. And as you can see, they do make an impact. Those 5 stars come in and a lot of them do play.
What do you think is the main reason for the big jump from season 1 to season 2 with 5 stars? Like you said, most of them end up starting. I think the numbers were 58% of their games
Mm-hmm.
in year 2, and then it grows. And then, of course, you see them matriculate to the NFL, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a great article on The Athletic this week where it talked about Bruce Feldman talked about when you look at the All-Pro level at the NFL, it's not necessarily littered with 5 stars from high school. So my question, Malik played the game. You talked about crunching the numbers. Is there a mental change that needs to happen along with the physical talent as these young men go through? Do they hit that season of something being an immovable object where they have to force themselves to get over it to where their talent can go to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I think without question, that first year in college for a lot of guys, it's just a learning year, right? You go in there, you're changing your body physically. Like I said, some guys have surgery, some guys are just putting on weight, getting in the physical shape that they need to be in. So you need that first year. A lot of guys need that first year just to make the mental adjustment to the game, to be able to play the game at the kind of speed that you need to play at, so you know what you're doing. And I think, that's why you see the jump in numbers go up from year 1 to year 2. And why you see so many guys by the time they're either redshirt freshmen or sophomores that they're playing a major role for their team. So I think that's what that's just the sort of natural progression of the way things work with the 5 stars. And I thought Feldman's article, his commentary as well, was really interesting. The fact that so many guys on defense, in terms of the 5 stars, are a little bit further along and more impactful. I think he made a great point, in a conversation that I heard him having, was that ultimately on defense, it's all about physicality, right? It's all about how strong can you beat the guy in front of you? Can you bring him down to the turf? Can you create the turnover? It's a little different than, maybe being an offensive lineman or a quarterback, where you're growing into your body still, even in college as an offensive lineman, or as a quarterback, you're getting adjusted to a new scheme or a new offense. So I think all of that plays a role in some of the development of these guys, and maybe why you see more guys on defense, more 5 stars making the All-Pro team, etc.
What about or have you ever thought about the interesting thing that all these 5 stars are going to the same schools? Wouldn't you think that having the ability to be a 5 star and go literally anywhere, why is it such a heavy concentration on the few schools that a majority of these schools get the 5 stars? Like Georgia had like 20 the last years, but these 5 stars can still go to the NFL even if it was at a New Mexico State or Utah State, or one of the schools that's not always in contention, I guess.
Yeah, I think a lot of it for these guys is just who do they trust, right? Who has the track record of getting guys to the first round? And I think a lot of the elite players, I spent some time at the Under Armour All-American game in Orlando right before it happened earlier this month, and I talked to a lot of the elite kids there about their selection process, and everybody says, well, NIL, right? NIL's got to be a big deal nowadays. Kids are following the money. But if you talk to a lot of the best players and you give them truth serum, or in my case, you let them speak anonymously, right, where they don't have to have their name attached to stuff, a lot of them will tell you they really pick a college because they want the school that can help them get to the NFL, that can help them get on the field the fastest and develop them the most, because they're looking at the big money. They're not looking at the payday, the immediate payday per se, because they know that, like you said, they can go anywhere and get that money. So I think ultimately for those guys, the best of the best, the 5 stars, they go to the trusted place, the school that they say, well, even if I have a hiccup or something, or I struggle a little in college, Georgia still sends a bunch of guys to the NFL, or Alabama still sends a bunch of guys to the NFL. So I think it's more about that safety net in the back of their mind. Once you build that reputation of being a school that produces a ton of first round picks and NFL talent, that's just where a lot of guys feel comfortable going.
But yeah, a guy like Derrick Henry, he could go to UCLA and still be Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that what is I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, is it the league that important of a signed guarantee, quote unquote, if you're a 5-star and go to these places? Or is it the talent that the 5-star has that naturally, like a Derrick Henry or a or a Leonard Fournette? I mean, he could have easily went anywhere. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean the cream always rises to the top, which is why you'll have guys go to small schools and still make it, because if they're the best of the best at their position, the NFL is going to find a way to get their hands on them and bring them in. So in the end, again, it's more of a choice for a lot of these guys of where do I feel like I have the most confidence going, where even if I mess up, even if I get hurt, something happens to me, these guys will find a way to help me get to the league. And I think that's why a lot of the choices end up being those schools over and over again.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, Manny Navarro from The Athletic joins us right here. We're talking 5 stars, their importance and their impact. And we're not going to let Manny get away with the fact that we see the pennant and the ibis behind him now.
Hey, that's just to let everybody know I'm in Miami, man. That's just to let everybody know it's
like a postcard, huh?
I got Giancarlo Stanton from when he was a Marlin. Okay, I cover sports in South Florida. I've been here 25 years, so I got all the teams. Look, I got the Dolphins here. I don't want them to think I'm a Miami homer, but
there you go.
I got all the little gizmos and free giveaways they give away at the stadium. That's what I got.
He's also the host of the Wide Right podcast, which is not a shot at us Notre Dame fans. That's a shot at the other school down there in Florida.
That Garnet and Gold School, yeah.
Absolutely.
We had to have a little fun with them.
Absolutely. So Jalen Snead was the one Notre Dame guy on the list, and I think he was along the typical progress of most of these guys, which is by the time it hits November, they've gotten better, they're coached up, and they're ready to come in and play. You saw him in the bowl game. He flashed, but you can still see, he still doesn't really know what the heck he's doing, but you see the talent. You see the speed. You see everything that Notre Dame fans were excited about when he committed and when he finally showed up on campus.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I mean, I think that's really more of the natural progression, right?
Yeah.
Like get to the bowl game, and by then you should be on the field, right? Because especially now with so many guys leaving early or holding themselves out of the bowl game so they don't get hurt, it's almost like the perfect scenario. That's when you finally put those true freshmen that you really have high hopes for going into year 2. So I thought it was perfectly timed for a guy like him.
Yeah. So when Notre Dame steps on the field against Ohio State week 5, right? Ohio State's going to have the advantage from a star standpoint when you look at the recruiting. Is quarterback the single most important position to kind of shorten that? Because you look at Dabo. Yep. Dabo kind of shortened things by stacking Deshaun Watson with Trevor Lawrence, 2 5-star quarterbacks. Is that the position that the schools that might not be able to recruit at the level of Georgia and Alabama can kind of shorten that distance and really compete?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, because to me, when you've got a dynamic quarterback who can do things for your offense and put you in positions to pull off upsets like Clemson did with those teams, that's really what it all comes down to. That's sort of an equalizer. But at the same time, too, I would say in today's game, with how many points are being scored in a lot of these games, you need the receiver. I would say the receiver position has become just as important as the quarterback position. You really need those dynamic playmakers. If you got them in the secondary, even better. Guys that can cover those receivers. But because the passing game has expanded so much, I would say quarterback and receiver are the 2 places, which is why Ohio State stays in it. Yeah, they've had some great quarterbacks, but the reality is, why is Ohio State in the playoffs so often? They've got tremendous receivers. I mean, what they got going with Brian Hartline right now, year in, year out, that's really special. And there's not a lot of places that are doing what they're doing at Ohio State.
That is wide receiver you. That's a fact. You couple that with good quarterback play, and once again, they come into this season not knowing whether it's McCord or Brown, but you just believe that one of those guys is going to step up and be pretty good, and he's going to have wide receivers. Like the wide receiver class they brought in this year is absolutely insane. Darnell Tate, Brandon Ennis.
Yeah.
That's just another year of big-time wide receivers, like you said.
Yeah, and I got to know those guys. They played for the South Florida Express 7-on-7 team, which is based out of here in Miami. I went to Vegas and LA with them on a couple of trips to watch those guys play, and just another special group of kids, headed into Ohio State to go play that receiver position. They just keep reloading, and again, you mentioned, you were talking previously about why guys pick certain schools. Brandon Innes, I know the University of Miami badly wanted him, and we all know about the NIL deals and the kind of money that Miami's spending to sign some guys. I know he was offered some good money by Miami, and he still picked Ohio State because of Brian Hartline and being coached and going to a program where he could be developed and reach the NFL. And that, again, that's just another example of why guys pick schools and why things end up the way they do.
Ultimately, do you ever see the trend of the 5 star being this important? Do you see it staying pat or getting even more important as college football evolves with NIL? We'll see if legislation comes in with the new president of the NCAA and then the expansion of the playoffs. Does that make it easier for other schools to attract 5 stars? How do you think this is going to kind of matriculate in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I still think the best players at heart are always going to want to go to the place that can help them get to the NFL the best and develop them the best in the superstars and where they can win championships. And right now, there's a small amount of schools that are doing that. Now, if the college football playoff, if that helps change things here in the years ahead, where we start getting some different teams playing in the championship, like this year we had TCU, of course, reach it, which everybody was like, wow, a different. It's not Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State, right? There's
Yeah.
a different school there. I think the more often that happens, maybe the more guys might open up their mind. But as long as the NFL draft comes along in April, and Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State are dominating, I still think those will be the schools where the majority of the 5 stars go.
Now, can
Once
you
it,
explain the
go ahead.
5 star plus aspect and how does that even affect recruiting, if at all?
Yeah, I think the whole 5 star plus aspect is when you're a consensus 5 star by all the recruiting services, and I think look, like 247, for instance, in my article in the Athletic, I spoke to Andrew Ivins, who's their new director of scouting, and he sort of explained to me their whole methodology of how they pick the 5 stars, etc. Now they only rank 32 because there's 32 draft picks right in the NFL every single year in the first round, and so that's the formula that they use. But the composite year in and year out, the number will change. So some years you'll have some guys that qualify for 5 star status as a composite, even though maybe 247 doesn't rank that guy, or Rivals doesn't rank that guy, or On3 doesn't rank that guy as a 5 star. So it's a very complicated process, but essentially what you need to know, if you're a 5 star plus, that means everybody thinks you're a 5 star, and that's how you end up getting that sort
Yeah,
of
does that
status.
make you like if you was like top 10 in the country, it makes you number 1 plus or something? Like how I mean, does it
Well,
the
it just
recruiters and
affects.
schools?
Well, I think for the most part, the colleges, while they certainly care about the rankings because
Yeah,
it helps them look good, right? Like Mario Cristobal is never going to get up in a press conference and say the recruiting rankings don't matter to him, even though we know deep down inside he wants to be ranked in the top 10 every year as a recruiter. But the reality is, schools don't recruit off of lists. I don't think. I think for the most part, they do their own homework. At least the best schools do. They do their own research, which is why you'll see a 2 star or a 3 star who goes to Alabama, have a great career, like a Josh Jacobs or somebody of that nature. So I think in the end, how much do the schools pay attention to the 5 star plus? I mean, it's a nice sort of feather in their cap when they say they recruited a 5 star plus, but the truth is they want the guy that they know is the baller and is going to help them win a championship.
Once again, Manny Navarro from The Athletic. You can go follow him. Manny underscore Navarro. He's also the host of the Wide Right podcast. I actually like that. I like that. I'm gonna have to tap into that because I don't like Florida State either, so that's perfect for me.
All
I
right.
would I would like to see the Miami Notre Dame rivalry like fire back up though.
Yeah, it would be great. I mean, I think that's a part of college football history that people certainly enjoyed, especially me growing up here in South Florida in the late '80s and going to the Orange Bowl as a youngin, watching those games and just the classic battles. But really, I mean, I think college football needs Miami and Florida State to be among those playoff teams again. It just TV eyes, everybody in the country wants to watch those teams play. You look at the TV ratings when they hook up, it's great. So I would love to see that in the years ahead for sure.
Yeah, Florida State, most people have them top 10 this year, some top 5 going into the season. How long before Mario Cristobal gets things back rolling?
Well, I mean, one thing people when they talk about Miami, they don't realize, but the number of first round picks and second round picks and third round picks, those guys, those numbers have really dwindled here the last few years. And part of the reason Mario Cristobal is here is because he's an excellent recruiter. He can really connect with kids and does a good job. Aside from all the NIL, he knows what he's doing in terms of identifying players. And so I think it's going to probably take 2 or 3 recruiting cycles before Miami is probably a legitimate contender for an ACC championship to get into the playoff. But that could be, at the end of this coming season where you start to see Miami turning a corner, going into 2024 where maybe you're saying, okay, this is a legitimate top 25 team, not a team that just gets ranked in the preseason and falls out.
Once again, Manny Navarro from The Athletic, we appreciate you joining us today, man. Have a great day, and we'll check in with you sometime closer to the season.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on. Take care.
Absolutely. That was Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Follow him, Manny_Navarro, host of the Wide Right podcast. Left, his point about the wide receiver position, man, he's spot on with that. Like, quarterback is one thing, but Ohio State has found a niche with that wide receiver position, and it allows them to constantly, consistently put forth an explosive offense.
That's right.
Man.
We'll see what our receivers do this year.
Well, you kind of trashed them and said they were going to get trounced when they come to South Bend. So, by the way, I'm sorry for not asking, man. You cool? Did you feel that 4.2?
Oh, it was supposed to be hurt. California's so big, man. Something can happen out here. Y'all think it happened down the street, and I'm so far from it, I guess.
Baby girl hit me early in the morning and was like, yo, that 4.2 just hit Malibu. And it was kind of scary for the first time. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I'm long ways away.
I guess you're right. Malibu was the epicenter, so
yeah.
You didn't even feel a tremor or anything, huh?
Listen, I'm by the water.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube channel as well, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Go ahead, subscribe, hit that like button, share, and a notification bell. Every time we go live or post something, you'll know it's a Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. Left, coming up, we're going to talk a little Justin Scott, but then we're going to give you an opportunity to go into the mind of Coach Leak and give us the off-season plans for every quarterback on the Notre Dame roster. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast. Let's go. We're back. Left, who would you like to start with? Because we're talking right now development, off-season plans for the quarterbacks. Notre Dame put out the video. They showed both of the starting quarterbacks hitting it hard in the weight room. Yesterday's show, we talked about Tyler Buckner maybe even changing his body type, and not being so tight, and it might help him stay healthier. Give me your breakdown for Sam Hartman. What are you focusing on? You are the guy developing this guy to get him ready for the 2023 season. Sam Hartman.
Definitely pick out his guys that he feels he might be a go-to with, maybe a Caleb Smith, get with a Jaden Thomas, get with a younger guy. I wouldn't focus too much on the younger class just because I'm a one and done. I'm trying to get in and get with the guys and get out. So developing some sort of rapport with the guys you'll be around, try to start scheduling some times to get some throwing sessions in. And then really just be trying to get in the head of Tommy Rees, knocking on the door, talking about what kind of plays they looking for, how we can integrate what I do best, what you like me, what you brought me here to do, and finding his identity on and role on the team. I think for 1 year, it's a little different than just being a regular transfer or being a early enrollee or even being a freshman, where you're fitting more of a role for a team as a contractor, not as a equity partner. So you really want to be able to see how you can fit in, get in where you fit in, and stay that course, and not concern yourself too much with the uh, politics of the team necessarily of what goes on in and out. You got to be more. All right, we see Sam at practice, and then we don't see Sam till next practice. I think that's just requiring how you keep the team chemistry right, but also, he's coming in to get a job done as well as staying focused. And I think he's best seen when he's got his helmet on, and I think that helps the team get better, and I think people will respond good to it.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Coach Leak is giving his breakdown of how he would approach the offseason for each quarterback on the Notre Dame roster. Next up, we go to the incumbent, Tyler Buckner.
It's a tough decision to be in because, they're bringing this guy in to start and to play. I think absorbing as much as you can uh, from Sam when you can, just talking to him about different things on a leadership level, making sure the room, that's still your chair in there. You need to command the quarterback room in the way that you do build rapport with the team, because technically you missed a whole season being injured, so you wasn't quite involved as much as you were. So being competitive in team drills and in team situations, you really want to build a strong chemistry with your guys, because you don't know when your number is going to get called necessarily, but you want to be able to have guys that you can lean on and that can trust you when you do get an opportunity to be in there. But also working on your technique. I think being healthy, being able to be on your 2 feet more so to be able to physically be on the field, continue to work your technique on the small things. If I was him, I would just be like, I'm going to be really, 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 really good at the go route and really, really, really good at the post route. That's it. If he don't do nothing else better, at least they're going to go into that media day saying, the one thing that's different about Tyler, that go route is automatic. Because I think he's going to have to be a role where it's like, all right, give Sam a relief, or we need some dynamic playability, go in there, make something shake, and your go route is your go-to route. That needs to be money every time you put it in the air, because you need to find something that identify you differently from Sam Hartman, but also it allows you to be really great at something.
Right.
I think when you polishing your game and you get more mature, but you're not having the same experience, get good at something. Specifically get good at something. Not just get good at being out there, because we seeing you can be good, but you going into the room just shooting up the club. Go in there and be like, okay, I'm tactical. But you get it done. I think the team will respect that and have much more of your back in situations like that, because it's like, oh, Tyler's getting in. Let me get my go route ready. Let me get my post ready. Because he's not getting in all the time, so he doesn't have the pressure of having to be accurate on the intermediate and the short and the bubbles and the RPOs and the play actions. We know that, okay, he's going to run it. And damn it, when a go ball is called, his accuracy and his timing has been so impeccable, because that's what he's only been working on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a value to the team, because that's what the teams needed. We got to charge Drew Pine and Sam Hartman. So I don't need you throwing the slants as good as Sam Hartman. Because we brought him in because you can't throw great slants. You can't throw great mesh routes or digs. We didn't bring Sam Hartman in because he can throw it deeper than you. So when your name is called to throw it deep, that go route, I don't want to see it thrown out of bounds. But we call it for Tobias and you in there and they heavy run because they know you run the football. That's one-on-one with Tobias and needs to be completed. We going in before half and we calling something for Lindsey to sneak past somebody, Styles to sneak past somebody. You got to hit it.
Man.
That's it.
Man,
all the other stuff is going to come when you're a full-time starter. But right now, be good at a role.
Man,
that would be his best thing.
Oh, that play from the Marshall game is still a nightmare.
Because that could have made the game different right there.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Dare I say we go to Steve Angeli?
He should transfer.
That's the conversation.
Don't
That's
even
the
waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time.
Left. Come on, man.
You probably got your degree, coming up. Stick around, get that.
It's only his second year left. It's only his second year.
I don't like the way they playing the game in the quarterback room. Is Angeli going to play this year? Absolutely not. I mean, provided everybody stay healthy,
Yeah.
But if I'm Angeli, I'm like, man, you brought this man in. That must mean I'm not ready. Because if Angeli is Kenny Minchie, he was supposed to be ready to play last year. He was just happy to be taking second team reps.
Well, man, we didn't get to see it. Maybe he was ready to start a college game by November.
Man, them people would know.
They would.
And we had Drew Pine. You telling me?
So you felt like he should have been able to usurp Drew Pine at some point, even though Drew Pine was the starter.
Drew Pine talent level wasn't that great. If we had a talented quarterback in that room, knowing that this is a transition year for real, you putting him out there. Because you like, this is the future, so we need to just develop him right now. That's why I said Tyler should have started Jack Cohn's year. Now look at Tyler. Not ready. They had to bring in another guy. But if he played and Jack Cohn was coming in and out or didn't come at all, they wouldn't need Sam Hartman. So that's just telling me they really don't think Angeli's ready. Because if not now, then when is he ever going to get more reps? By year 3 or 4? I'm like, that's why I might transfer. If you waiting on this kid in 3 or 4, I don't know how you wait on him because you got CJ Carr coming. Kenny Minchie going to be ready by next year in November, provided you do it right. So when is Angeli you ready to throw Angeli in there year 3 or 4? You're not doing the order right. You're supposed to have, if you want to win championships, a guy in there year 1.5. Stetson Bennett got 3 years in. No, it's not no secret. It's not no one way of doing it, obviously. But you got to get some order to your quarterback room, and answer is not getting a transfer every year. So you got to transfer now back-to-back years, and the quarterback room ain't changed that much. Quarterback room been the same this whole time. So either you don't believe in the room, then what you recruiting? Now we obviously have gotten better, but now it's like, okay, you still got the residue. What you doing with Angeli? Because you use a long list of Angeli types for whatever reason. So long list of Angeli types where you got Buckner in there. So what was your plan, I guess? Because it don't seem like you had a plan for Angeli when you get back-to-back transfers. When if you're doing it by how it's been done lately, you got a guy that's ready year 1.5. Yeah. So something's missing because Tyler, I don't know what you're doing with Tyler either.
Yeah.
And Tyler's the better prospect, quote unquote. So you even holding a better guy back. So I don't know really. If I'm Angeli, I'm like, man, you doing this to Tyler. What you doing to me? I don't think he's thinking Tyler's better, not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, okay, what's the plan? I'm trying to figure out the plan. If not, I'm leaving. Because you could play somewhere right now.
Yeah.
You came from Notre Dame. You already got the stamp. So you can play somewhere right now. If it's about playing. Now, if you just, you love Notre Dame since you was 2 years old and got that whole thing, then ride it out. But you're not going to be playing.
Yeah.
And I really don't want you to play because I don't want you going in there naked, no game experience against no Clemson or Ohio State or when it matters or, you know.
Yeah. All right. This is the one I'm sure everyone is waiting on. And I'm sure you would be happy to go ahead and get this clay and start molding it. Kenny Minchie.
Man, listen, it depends on how they going to do him. If I'm doing it right, Kenny Minchie's my 3, and I got him staying close. I got him taking some scout team, but on team, I got him staying close. I got him taking a rep, maybe, end of practice, maybe once or twice, because I really want to get the train rolling. But I want him to take reps in a 1-on-1 and the 7-on-7. I need him to be as close as professional as he can be, absorbing and really getting his body right. I'm warning about getting in that weight room, get that baby fat off because he got some baby fat on him. Start working that baby fat off. Be the most in shape. I remember Matt LaFleur told me, be the most in shape guy on the team. You the most in shape guy on the team. That's step 1 to being the best quarterback in the country. So that's all independent on you. And then obviously, learning the playbook and stuff, but, being able to be adaptable, learning stuff on the fly. You ain't going to get a lot of a lot of direct reps, indirectly get some reps, steal some reps. They talking too much of something, going there, be annoying because the room is too corporate office now. It's too, go with the flow. Big homie club, the clubhouse. Shake it up. They recruited you, so they like you. So you ain't gotta worry about them not liking you. They like you. Get on their nerves a little bit, show that you really want to make this room better.
Yeah.
As the little brother of the room. Like, yeah, I know I ain't playing, but you lucky, And when I get in, let me flash, try something deep. Just say I'm here. I know you're gonna they tell you to take the little swing route, but throw the slant one time. Throw the go route. You're in college football. Don't be afraid of the moment. So also I would tell Kenny Minchie.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. All of the great content. Go over there right now. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. We'll get to the super chats and questions in a moment. Before we do that, Left had the opportunity to travel downtown last night, South Loop, right on the outskirts, and enjoy another high school basketball game at St. Ignatius College Prep. And after the game, I took about 10 minutes, or I was given 10 minutes. 5-star defensive tackle, Justin Scott. He was gracious with his time, and, I appreciate him. The first thing was Ohio State and Ryan Day were in the house. That was the first thing. So I know everybody is asking, like, yo, what's going on?
Because Ohio State basketball ain't no good either way. So
I mean, Illinois kind of spanked Ohio State basketball last night. So
I don't even watch his college team. I'd rather watch a recruit play some basketball than watch Ohio State basketball.
Shout out to my Illini. But no, he was in the building with some other coaches and visited St. Ignatius yesterday. And I'll start off by saying this. I think everybody in the college recruiting world knew what the deal was when it came to Justin Scott and his recruitment. Something that I've been saying for over a year. We've said, I think you've seen it on Irish Breakdown on the message boards as well. To call him a Notre Dame lean would be an understatement. And Ryan Day came this week. I know the defensive line coach was in last week around the same time that Tommy, like days before Tommy went to his basketball game. And it's basically become everybody team up on Notre Dame in the recruitment, right? Because you're not going to change the fact that Notre Dame sits at the top right now. So what do? Forget talking about that. Let's all team up and just stall the announcement. That's it. That's the pitch. Whether it's Ohio State, Georgia, anybody else, they're all teaming together to stall the announcement. So that was pretty much what the young man said. Now, if you remember, first time I spoke to him when I went to his game a couple of weeks ago, he told me, and I reported, that he was basically going to focus on basketball and then take his time and take visits after the basketball season, which was late February, March, depending upon how far they go in the state basketball tournament, which they can make a run. I don't think they're good enough to get down to the state championship, but Sweet 16, something like that, I can see it. And that takes them into like late February, more than likely. So March and April is pretty much going to be the target because he said he was ready to make a decision. He didn't want to drag it out. And I still think that's how he's feeling. He doesn't want to drag it out, but he does want the opportunity to go see some schools that he hasn't seen. It wouldn't shock me if he went to see Georgia. It wouldn't shock me if he went to take an official visit to Ohio State, another official visit to Michigan, another official visit to Notre Dame. He did tell me that he's locked in still to this point. As of last night when I spoke to him, he was locked in to visit Notre Dame this weekend, this Sunday. It's snowing right now. The weather's supposed to be crazy for the next couple of days. I told Notre Dame fans on Monday, pray that the weather clears up so nothing can stop or change the plans. Look, nothing's changed. He was honest, very transparent. Like, yo, nothing's changed. Notre Dame is still Notre Dame for me. No one gets him to react emotionally or has that attachment for him more than Notre Dame. Notre Dame saw what he said, and they told him flat out, yeah, do what you have to do.
The Suge Knight response.
Yeah, go ahead. We support you. Do what you have to do.
Yeah, you go.
And this goes back to, what I said last week. If no one else wants who you with, then it's a problem. The fact that everybody's clamoring and negative recruiting the way they are and as hard as they are, he must be one. He must be one. And at the end of the day, Notre Dame sits in his heart.
Marcus Freeman on his mind.
And he flat out told me last night, yeah. Before I talked to my mom and my family and said, yo, maybe I need to go back to my original, because his original plan was to take visits. Notre Dame comes and visits him. Marcus Freeman talks to him.
With the black suit on.
And all of a sudden,
hitting with that, you won't remember anything after this. Psst.
All of a sudden, he's announcing. All of a sudden, he's announcing on January 31st. So
it was that light, like you're not going to remember any school after this.
Yeah. It was
Flash, he said, oh, I'm Notre Dame ready.
Basically.
Black.
Basically. Facts.
And he didn't let these other coaches knock him out of it.
Facts.
Now you're like, let me think again. You know where he wanted to go. Marcus
Freeman
there.
Facts. So that's why, look, other people, anyone else, everybody has their opinion. Right? I was talking to the young man. I've spoken to him before. I get the same vibe I got weeks ago. I got the same vibe. If you thought, unfortunately, well, everybody was excited about this announcement, I was the only one sitting here like, that's not what he said he wanted to do. And I knew it was an emotional reaction
Fake
to Notre
news.
Dame.
Fake news.
I knew that. I knew it was an emotional reaction to Notre Dame. So to be honest, as we sit here today, I would be more concerned if he had gone through with the emotional reaction with other schools still coming after him, trying to get him to take visits. And then all of a sudden he starts taking visits. And now we're going back to the Keon Keeley, Peyton Bowen thing all over again. I'm cool with it going down like this. Dot all your I's and cross all your T's. Make sure that this is what you want to do. And that's one of the things he told me. He said, dude, I don't want to decommit. So I'm not trying to do the decommitment thing. And I encouraged him. I told him, I said, hey, bro, you only get to do this once. This probably you only get to do this process. Man, you only get to do this process one time.
Well, nowadays you do it a couple.
Well, you know. But he doesn't want that.
He doesn't want to look like our guy Peyton Bowen.
No, he's very well aware. Hold on. He's very well aware of what happened in the 23 class. Very well aware of Peyton Bowen. He knows he's not trying to play Notre Dame like that. So basically, look, college football knew what the decision was. Everybody. Hey, Steve Wilfong crystal balled him to Notre Dame yesterday. Just yesterday, crystal balled him. That guy Ryan Dave's like, man, you know what? Let me jump on this PJ right quick. Like, look here, man. Just slow up. Please, just slow it up. We're not telling you not to like them, not to be in love with them. What we're saying is, man, just give us a chance. Just give us a chance.
Because we done got John Baptiste on them. We about to get Justin Scott on them. They like, hold on now.
Like, dude.
Y'all got to relax over there in South Bend.
I still feel the exact same. He's not leaving the Midwest, in my opinion. He's not leaving the Midwest. It's Notre Dame, Michigan, and Ohio State at the top. That's it. Go fight. This is not the time for Notre Dame. I think Tommy Rees is supposed to be, I think the coaching staff is supposed to be at his game Friday night. He's visiting Notre Dame Sunday, still locked in, but the coaching staff is going to be at his game on Friday night.
Yeah.
So, look, this ain't time to go sulk in the corner. It shouldn't be like this, but it is. Go fight. Go get him. Go get him. Let him know. Yeah, this is the right spot.
That's right.
This is the right spot.
This is the right place.
That's the right place. Period. So, lucky man, this is a young man that has had his eye on Notre Dame and knows what's going on. And he said, yo, I just don't, man. But this is the thing. That was the original plan that he told me, Left. That was the original plan. I want to take my visits after basketball season and then make my decision. That was his plan.
That's right.
I don't see anything different. Don't see anything different. Lucky Lefty podcast. Let's get to these comments and questions, bro. Truman Dumel. I got how deep is our quarterback room with Minchie, Buckner, Carr, and maybe Antoine Hill Jr., the kid from the 25 class that we broke down his film the other day, Left. Hopefully we can become a quarterback factory. Go ahead, Left.
Yeah, I think we could become a quarterback factory provided we follow the order of how it should go, and we're preparing guys the right way. I think we're making a better effort of getting more talent in the room, and I think our scheme is great. What we're doing, we putting some pieces together. Was activate our receivers more this year, but I think that comes with trust from these guys. Sam Hartman has a lot of talent. He's proven other places, but that is in Notre Dame. And then Tyler Buckner with the talent he has. I think having Kenny Minchie come in as a fresh guy under Marcus Freeman, someone that has a lot of talent, that the coaching staff is behind, full support. That's their guy, is going to turn out for a better result. It should turn out for a better result than any transfer, unless he's like the number one pick. But other than that, I think it's going to be good for us to have Tommy have a line of talent instead of a line of game managers.
Yeah. Our guy, Truman had another one. What about Steven Jelly? Hope we don't forget him.
No, we talked about him. Transfer.
Yeah. You heard what Left said. Rob Tidoff. Thank you, Rob. Rob, make sure you post your podcast in the chat for people as well, man, so everybody can tap in with you. Rob Tidoff says, Shaun and Malik, you think there's a chance we can get Jay Wright to come out of retirement to coach Irish hoops? I say at least make the call to see what he says. If Jay Wright is coming to Notre Dame, that means Notre Dame is about to be a Nike school. These coaches are tied to the brands, bro. Jay Wright is a Nike coach.
Period.
He's a Nike coach. Now, that is something that we said yesterday, talking about the apparel deal coming to an end. That could be in consideration for Notre Dame. Like, how can we make this men's hoop program better, where the shoes and the apparel means a lot more than it does on the football side, right? And as much as people might not like the brand and what's connected to it and how, children, work laws and all of that stuff, look, for the sake of the question, if they go get Jay Wright, Notre Dame is switching to Nike. That's the only way they get him. The only way. But I agree. I would make the call. Oh, without question. Without question, I would make the call. As a loyal supporter of the best ND podcast on earth, we appreciate you, Jason. Will LL Nation wish my son Amani a happy birthday?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Amani.
Amani.
Happy birthday to you, young king.
Happy
Eternal
birthday,
blessings
bro.
and favor to you. Absolutely.
From LL.
Jason Hewlett says, so why is Ron Collins even in the quarterback room? That degree. What you mean?
Yeah.
That degree. Future coach.
I'd never get upset over a coach's kid getting on the team.
No.
Because I would do the same thing.
Do the same thing. Absolutely.
I'm like, man, good for you, man.
Nepotism at its finest. I'm all
at its
good
finest. I agree with it.
Jason Hewlett, once again, did y'all watch Ramon Henderson on the No Fly Zone pod? He said he and B Mo run 4 threes.
Well, I didn't see it, so it don't matter now.
Yeah, I saw it and I started, and after the first 5 minutes, I was like, I'm not watching this. I'm not watching this. No, it wasn't because of Ramon. He was obviously at home over the break, and it was a Texas Tech podcast because they had a Texas Tech helmet on the table. So, they started off talking about your recruiting. Was it snowing on your man? What's a day like in Notre Dame in January? Da, da, da. I'm like, dude, what? It's the same as it is in Michigan and Columbus, Ohio. It's cold and it's snowy. Like, stop. It's better than Texas Tech. I can tell you that. It's better than being at Texas Tech. You know, I was like, man, these hosts are making me fall asleep. I can't do it.
Don't make me fall asleep.
They're making me fall asleep. I can't do it. Jason Hewlett, better play caller, BK or Tommy?
I think Tommy's more updated.
There you go. Jason Hewlett, once again, he says he wants Kung Fu Kenny to start 2024.
Make it happen, Kenny.
He should at least be competing, right?
At least.
Yeah. He should at least be competing, man. You guys were fabulous in the chat. Always keeping it hot, great conversation. All we ask is that you continue to respect each other. And you can say whatever you want to say, man. You guys make us laugh during the show. I don't know if you know that. Because we see some of the stuff that you guys say. And we're like, man, these guys are wow. Left, great show, man. Great content today. We thank you for Manny Navarro for joining us, talking about the importance of 5 stars. We had that conversation. We're going to have to push back our trailer talk. And, yeah, we'll push that back to tomorrow. And then we'll give you an updated list on the players only podcast. It'll be coming up. Malik will be hosting. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Story of the Day, brought to you by Onora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. The premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. Hey, I just got up on this today because I saw Stephen A. interviewed on The Breakfast Club, and they asked him about his comments that he made on the Sherry Shepherd show about Rihanna performing at the halftime show.
Yeah.
And, you know, people... Nah, it's a double petty for me because I guess he took backlash for it because his thing was like, man, yeah, Rihanna's cool, but man, she ain't Beyonce, you know. And look, I think it's petty of him to even mention Beyonce. You know, he could have just said, look, I think Rihanna's, man, she's fabulous. I think she's going to put on a great show. You know, he chose to put his personal feelings into it, but it is what it is. But people, I want to jump out. You know, you're pitting 2 black women against each other. It's like, come on, relax. Come on, stop. The man gave his opinion. Everybody has the ability to give that opinion, man. If he thinks she's a better artist than Rihanna, then that's fine.
I mean, she is. What?
You're hating. Stop pitting those 2 women against each other, Malik. You can't do that. That's not right. Come on, man. That's where we're at.
Got more money.
Man.
Beyonce got more awards.
Man.
She's
done the Super Bowl. She sang the national anthem.
Yeah, what are we?
The commissioner's press conference. To prove that she doesn't lip sync. I mean, look, what
she got paid $24 million for a private show. Come on, man. That's baller.
That was shady of that community trying to come at her too for going to get the bag over in Dubai. It's like, come on, man.
I'll go do it. They be like, hey, Shaun, Malik, we'll give you $24 million to do this show at the Lucky Lefty podcast in Dubai for $24 million. You coming?
It's like, come on, man. It's like
you can tell them our black community wouldn't appreciate that, Shaun. I'm like, I'll see you in Dubai.
It wasn't the black community that came at her, it was the other community that came at her. And,
I go 21 show, 24 million. What's that an hour? Like
fam,
something that's like something crazy an hour.
you can imagine the other perks that came with it.
Yeah, you got the flight over there. They got your best hotel. All the food in the hotel is free.
She probably took the PJ right back home afterwards.
Yeah. Luxury PJ. That's
Man,
traveling in style.
absolutely. Absolutely. Lucky Lefty Podcast, man. Thank you guys for making this show another great show. Hump day, man. Middle of the week. Springboard to greatness for the rest of the week for everybody. We speak that over you guys. Once again, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. Follow us at YouTube, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Smash that like button for us. Leave your comments and questions. We will respond because we appreciate you guys helping us to our climb to 5,000. We're going to get there because of you. I remember when we said this is the climb to 1,000.
That's right.
And I
Now we
remember
at 3.5.
2,000, 3. Now we 3.5. I know. It's absolutely fantastic, man. We love you guys just as much as you love us. So for Left, I'm Shaun Davis. We bid you adieu until tomorrow when we'll have another great show. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Have a great Wednesday. But most of all, you got to make sure that you spend it different.